We're here at the classic safari caravan at Space Hoppers in Stroud, and the reason we're here is to meet Dr. Simon Opher. He's been the MP for Stroud since the early hours of the morning on the 5th of July. He grew up in Oxfordshire, he did his medical training at St Mary's in London, and he's been a GP in Dursley for the last 29 years. So let's go and meet him. So, Dr. Simon Opher, MP, thank you very much for joining us in the caravan today. How's your first month been as an MP?
Well, it's been pretty amazing, really. I mean, it started on election night, which is quite euphoric, and then so we have to go up to Parliament on the Monday straight away. We're straight into it. So and Parliament's a strange place when you're new to it, certainly. So that's been I've been on a steep learning curve. There's lots of sort of different processes that you have to get your head round, and then I suppose it's like two jobs really. Actually, we've got Stroud constituency and we've got Parliament. So having to set up my office, we have to getting to know all sorts of new processes. So, but it's been really exciting as well. You realise that we can make a real change, and that's for me is why I'm here, I suppose. And the other thing is, we got lots of new Labour MPs, and you look across them, they're young, much younger than me, and there's about 46% of women. There's a really diverse of ethnic mix. It feels like a big wind of change is passing through Parliament. So to be part of that is really genuinely exciting.
Now, you've been in this area quite a long time, 29 years as a Dursley GP. So tell me, what is it about Stroud and the surrounding area that you like?
There's lots of things I like about Stroud. I mean, one of the first things I noticed when I came here is that there's a real sense of community here, more than elsewhere that I've lived in. And that, people actually care for each other. And there's a very, there's quite a lot of extended families that live locally. And I really like that. People actually look after each other, and that was really highlighted, I think, in the COVID pandemic, where people really came together and looked after the older folk and that sort of thing. So there's that. There's also, it's really cutting edge here in a really exciting way. So in terms of environmental ideas and radical politics, radical creativity, I really enjoy that. And there's a really vibrant scene going on in music and in the arts as well. And so I get a thrill out of that as well. And I suppose the third thing is it's just a really beautiful place to live. The the countryside's lovely. I love walking through it and getting to know people who live in certain areas as well. So yeah, there's lots and lots of stuff that I could go on about, but I think those are the three main areas that I really enjoy.
So you've obviously got to know this area very well over the time you've been here. As I say, it's 29 years, but what made you think, actually, I'd like to represent the area, I'd like to be a member of Parliament for Stroud?
Well, yeah, I suppose that came from being a GP and trying to affect health. So I have been chair of the Stroud-wide sort of NHS locality, and I got to an idea that there's only so much you can do as a doctor to help the community, and also, even now in Stroud, there's a massive inequality in health. Some people live 10 years shorter than others, and that's really due to political reasons, not medical. So I realised to sort of make an effect on all that, I needed to get into a sort of political position. So that's why I got interested in that, is to really change how people live and try and make it a bit more equal, our society.
And on that subject, what are the issues in Stroud that you'd really like to have an influence over during your term as an MP?
Well, there's quite a lot, really. I suppose, firstly, I think on a national level, we need to end a sort of, the problems with poverty and the cost of living. So we need to, make energy much cheaper, and we need to, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it, to get rid of food banks and make them not necessary. That would be something that I would really like. I think we need to rebuild our local NHS, because that's really on its knees at the moment. General practice is in a really dire state, I would say. Stroud Maternity is partly closed for postnatal beds, so there's a lot of work to do there as well. Other areas, a bus service locally is causing a lot of difficulties, particularly in the south part of the county, and that's something I've been campaigning on even a couple of days ago, actually, and trying to reinstate what they're going to act. So there's a lot of those sort of things. And the other big thing I'm really keen on is to develop community energy schemes. So that's sustainable energy that's owned loved by local people, and they benefit from it as well. So I've just been on a meeting with that for the last hour or so, and we've got some exciting schemes coming up. And Stroud again is a sort of it's a real national centre for renewable energy. We've got ecotricity. We've got lots of passionate people that are very passionate about being carbon neutral, and I'm really looking forward to developing all those schemes.
Now, GPs, as you well know, have surgeries.
Yeah.
And it turns out that MPs also have surgeries. So what's the difference?
I don't know. I'm going to do my first one today, actually. My first MP surgery, which I'll be doing. So I'll tell you a bit more afterwards. I mean, that it's strange that they call the MPs ones a surgery, because obviously it's got nothing to do with operations or medicalness. But as I see it, actually, I mean, that's one of the things that attracted me to being a politician, is that people come in with problems. Some of them are health related. What I found as a GP is some of them aren't health related. They're related to housing, their relationships, benefits that they get, and that sort of thing. Or sometimes, they're getting very stressed about a neighbour or a local scheme or local antisocial behaviour. So often, even though I've just been a doctor with these surgeries, I'm expecting quite sort of similar levels of complaint. But certainly I won't be dealing with them medically. That's not going to be my role. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's one of the joys of being an MP, and it gets to it when you actually meet your constituents as well.
So final question, Simon. When you're not being an MP or a GP, what do you do?
Right, well, I like playing football, so I play football once a week, which I really enjoy. Keeps me fit, and gets rid of lots of my energy, which is great. I love reading as well. I read a lot of books. I like to go swimming, particularly in rivers and the sea. I'm just about to go off camping for a week, just to have a proper break, and I love that. So I like being outdoors, walking in the countryside as well. And I also am very passionate about the arts and culture. So I have been chair of Pramer Arts Centre in Ewley for many years, and I think arts are really central to what goes on, particularly in Stroud actually, but nationally we need to be really proud of our arts. They generate a lot of business for us, but more importantly they make us better, and I'm quite passionate about using different sort of schemes to make people better, and one of them is using arts and culture to really improve people. So that involves using art centres for patients and that sort of thing, and it's something that I personally really enjoy as well. So I like to write a bit of poetry now and again. Not very good, I warn you, but anything creative actually makes us feel better.